女士们、先生们，欢迎大家参加我们这个小组的讨论。I'd like to welcome everybody here to this particular panel discussion. It is my great honor to be the moderator. My name is Graham Earnshaw. I'd like, first of all, to introduce the four panelists here, and then we will then move into a discussion. Each of the speakers will be giving a brief description of their lives and their works.
大家好，我的名字叫 Graham， 我很高兴来到这里为大家主持。那么接下来呢，我会首先介绍一下我们这里的4位嘉宾，然后再接下来我会让他们来介绍一下他们自己的工作和生平。
On my extreme right, we have Christian Schmidt, who is from Germany.
那首先呢，我们这位是 Christian Schmidt 先生，他来自于德国。
And I will do this as a ping-pong game, and so I'd now like to go to Miss Xue Shu on the extreme left of our panel.
那我的介绍会像乒乓球比赛一样。那么接下来我要介绍的是薛淑女士。
And now on my right, I'd like to introduce Miss Colombe Schneck from France. And on my left, it is my honor to introduce you to Mr. Huang Dehai.
那么接下去介绍的是我右边的Colombe Schneck 女士，以及我左边的黄德海先生。
And so we will begin the ping-pong game with Mr. Schmidt, if we may. If you could give your address, thank you.
I'm not really prepared for this. I have to introduce myself.
No, you do not. Christian, how wonderful to see you here.
Yeah.
What kind of writing have you been doing most of your life?
I wrote a few books. I was a member of the editorial staff of a satirical magazine in Germany. It's called Titanic. I wrote a biography about the former German foreign minister, Joschka Fischer. I then changed the place of living. Maybe.
刚刚我们的史密斯先生他说他有点无措，要让他来介绍他自己。然后他说他自己呢写了几本书，然后在德国呢是一个讽刺杂志《泰坦尼克》的这样一个编辑，然后呢还给德国前外交部长写了一个传记，然后之后呢他就换了一个生活的地方。
Yeah, I was kidnapped in 2003 in Germany and brought to Singapore by a Chinese woman.
在2003年，我被一个中国女人从德国绑架到了新加坡。
And there I married this Chinese woman. And then I was brought in 2005 to Beijing. And then I changed the subject of my writing.
那我之后呢，就和这个中国女人结了婚，并在2005年被带到了北京。在到北京之后呢，我改变了我的写作主题。
And then I started to write about China. I wrote a travel book about China. It's called Alone Among 1.3 Billion. And this book starts in Shanghai and goes up the whole National Road 318 till the Chinese Nepalese border and in the end to Kathmandu in Nepal.
那我开始写有关中国的话题，写了一本书叫做《在13亿人之中》，然后在这样一个本书的旅途呢，它是从上海开始的，一直绵延380公里，然后绵延中国的国境线，在加德满都结束。
And this book was translated into Chinese, and then I published a few other books about China, columns I wrote for this German magazine, and now I published my first novel. And this is a little bit about China. It plays a little bit, maybe 5% in Hong Kong, but the rest in the past, and a lot of in Berlin, and a little bit in my hometown and the USA and Mexico.
那么接下来呢，我又写了一些有关于中国的话题，然后目前呢，我就为这个德国的杂志来写一些内容，然后又出版了一个长篇的小说。那么这部长篇的小说呢，它有5%的内容是和香港有关的，然后还有一些内容是在柏林，还有一些内容我放在我的德国的家乡来写，然后还有一部分和美国以及墨西哥有关。
I think that's enough for the moment.
Fantastic, thank you. 薛女士，如果你可以做一个介绍，就是你的一生肯定是很有趣，还有你的写作。谢谢。
好，谢谢。就是我刚才就在想，就是一个问题，因为经常就是有人会说你是不是从小有一个作为作家的梦想，但是在我生儿子之前，我从来不写作，我也不是一个从小作文特别好的孩子。后来在我的孩子长到幼儿园开始的时候，我第一次突发奇想的想到要写作了，然后我就开始写了，然后到今天大概写了有200-300万字的样子。是不是要翻译
I have always been asked that people will always ask me that do you have a dream of becoming a writer since you are very young? But actually, when I was before my son was born, I never write novels. And when I was very young, I was never good at writing. It was when my son has gone to kindergarten that I began to write. Until now, I have written for about 2 to 3 million characters.
所以说就是我以前的梦想是什么呢？我要做个歌手，然后但是我妈妈说你长得不够漂亮，你做了歌手也没用。但是后来因为这个参加了一些歌唱比赛，也得了一些奖，然后呢，我一直认为自己后来就忽然写作了。我一直认为自己是在写作的人当中唱歌唱得最好的，同时我又是唱歌当中写作写得最好的。但是我们德海有一次在活动当中介绍我薛叔唱歌唱得好的时候，我就对他说我很生气，你为什么不说我写作，说我唱歌？这是表示我不务正业。
So what did I want to do when I was young? I always wanted to be a singer, and I attended many contests, singing contests, and I won many awards. So after that, those awards, I thought myself as the best singer in all the writers and the best writer in all the singers. And I love writing. And but one time when Mr. Huang here introduced me to the other writers, he said I am very good at singing, and I was very angry then because why didn't you say that I'm a good writer? It turns out that it seems that I am not doing my own business and to do other things that I shouldn't do.
所以就是说到今天呢，我经常就是说告诉大家，我曾经唱歌唱得很好，现在我唱功都已经废了。这个是我给自己找借口。那么我再说一下我从小出生成长一直在上海。然后我的成长的地方，也就是我的故乡老家，就是浦东。现在的飞机场就是我们浦东机场的那个地方。那么现在呢，跑回去呢，我的那个小镇都已经不在了，没有那个名字了，几个镇合并成叫机场镇，那个浦东机场的那个。然后我们家头顶上就哗哗的飞过那个飞机，我找不到我的故乡了。但是我的小说。我的这个写的东西里面，就是很多都是写的我的曾经有的，在我的记忆当中的，但是现在已经消失了的那个故乡的一些故事。那么我也是觉得，就是现在的这个世界变化很大，而我记录那些也许并没有为别人，只是为我记忆当中的自己的故乡。
So today I don't say very much, and I think my singing capability has been receding, and it's because I don't practice a lot, and I know that's an excuse. And for my living, I grew up in Shanghai, and my hometown is a place where the Pudong airport lies. So the town lies just in the airport place, and I tell people that when you see the airport, this is my hometown. And now the town does not exist anymore, and there are several towns. They get together. They're together, and the name is called Airport Town. And when I was young, I heard the flight of the airlines, and I remember my home, but my home is no more. So for my many stories, I wrote about my memories, hometown in my memories, and they're fading. That's kind of scenting my story. And sometimes I think the world has changed a lot. And when I write my stories, I don't write for the other people. I just write for myself, the hometown in my memories.
Well, I'm French, I live in Paris, but when I hear you, I feel we all write about the same subject. We write about things would disappear, people would disappear, places would disappear, and we all try put them down with words so it still exists.
我居住在巴黎，我是法国人。那当我听到这些的时候，我发现我们写的都是同一个主题。我们会写那些消失的东西、会消失的人以及将要消失的地方，我们把它们记录下来，用文字记录。
Well, I grew up in Paris, in the nicest neighborhood in Paris, in the very nice apartment, because our parents wanted for our children, which is also, I think, something very universal, to their children have the best childhood, the most happy childhood, and to create maybe like a fantasy world for their children, with no war, no destruction, nothing bad. And my father used to repeat all the time, we should never talk about bad things. And of course the bad things are the one I'm writing about. And I wrote 10 books, and most of my books are about my family and the past of my family and the bad thing which happened to them.
那我居住在巴黎，然后一个非常美好的公寓里面。那么我们在全世界其实有一个共同的一点，就是大家都希望有一个美好的童年，然后从这个美好的童年里去生发出去创造出一个美好的童年记忆来。那么在这里呢，它没有战争，没有一些坏的东西，就像我父亲曾经告诉我的一样，你不应该去谈论一些坏的东西。但是其实在我的书里写了很多不好的东西，我写过10本书，大部分都是关于我的家庭，关于一些不好的东西。
Well, one of the first book I wrote about, it's about the fantasy which translated into Chinese. It's this world our parents created for us in the very nice apartment in Paris with very nice furniture, and everything was, there were nothing, no one could be sad, no one could be sick, there were no unemployment, no problem of money or anything. It should go on like this, but of course life is not like that. So at one point, things going to be, from splendor, is going to be, real life arrive and going to be down like that. And one of my last book, La Réparation, it's also about the silence of my family. All my grandparents, I'm very French, but all my grandparents came from different countries of Eastern Europe. They were migrants. They were Jewish, so they had to flee destruction, pogroms, and they arrived in France at the beginning of the 20th century and established there. And of course, no one would talk about what happened to them during the war. And maybe 18 years ago, I was pregnant with my first child. And my mother, who was still alive, told me one day that she felt with a little voice, and she felt like she would say something very bad to me, She said, I have a favor to ask you. If ever you have a little girl, could you give her the name of Salome, which is the name of my cousin who would disappear and nothing is left of her?
那我写第一本书的时候，它是一本挺好的书，讲述的是在巴黎，我们那边有一个非常好的公寓，有非常美好的 非常美好的家具，然后没有人叹气，没有人生病。但是其实生活不总是那么美好的。就像我的最后一本书，我最近的一本书叫做《弥补》，然后它就讲述的是一个家庭的沉默，一个家庭的消失。那虽然我是法国人，但是我的祖父母呢都来自于欧洲，他们是移民，他们是犹太人，所以在那个年代他们需要一段逃亡。然后在20世纪初期的时候呢，他们就逃到了法国，并在那里定居了下来。那么在之后呢，在我第一个孩子的时候，那么我的母亲过来照顾他，然后他告诉我，如果说你生一个女孩的时候，如果你生了一个女孩，那么你要给她起名叫做莎乐美，因为她是我的一个亲戚，我的一个表亲的名字，然后她在战争中消失了。
So, I was grown up, but I didn't dare to ask her any questions. I was afraid that if I knew what happened to Salome, I would be sad forever, you know. But then later I had a little girl, I named her Salome, and when she was maybe 3 days old, I did a nightmare. Someone during the night wanted to take my little girl and kill everyone. So I punched this guy during my nightmare. And I woke up and I realized that I put on my little baby girl a history, a drama. I didn't know anything about it. I had no choice. I had to find what happened to Salome. And that's how I began this book. And
那在我一开始听说这件事的时候呢，我并没有想问他的表亲身上发生了什么，但是因为我知道如果我问了的话，我永远都会不开心的。后来我生了一个女孩，我确实给她起了一个名叫莎乐美的名字，但是在我的女儿大概3天那么大的时候呢，我做了一个噩梦，我梦见有人想要杀她，然后我就在噩梦里面去打那个杀她的那个人，然后我就惊醒了。这个时候我才发现我没有任何的选择，我必须要去寻找莎乐美背后发生了什么，这就是我写作这本书的起因。
So I think that all the purpose of my book, like you, is to put back memories and history and facts on things which or people who disappear for different reasons.
那这就是为什么我发现，其实我写作的原因也是去寻找一段记忆、一个历史、一些事实，放在那些将要消失的人和事物身上。
轮到我了。这个我要说的，我写作是有一个非常尴尬的开始，尴尬到什么程度呢？尴尬到像就是，比如说我翻译过英文的书，翻译成汉语，但是我不能听不能说，就是因为我在小时候学的英语是哑巴英语，就是只看就是只学语法，不能说不能听的。这个我的尴尬的开始是什么呢？就是8年前我到了一个杂志工作，因为约来的稿子质量太差了，我只好自己写。
So my writing is a very embarrassing beginning. For example, I have translated English books into Chinese, but I can't understand what people are talking in English, and I can't speak English either. It's because when I was young, I studied English, and the English taught in the way that they only taught grammar, but they don't tell you how to listen, how to speak. And 8 years ago, when I worked in a magazine, and I received very terrible writings. So I think since it's very terrible, I should write them myself.
对，然后我写的这个题材，叫做一种我都不知道英语里有没有这个词叫文学评论。这个文体非常尴尬，就是在写小说的人发现他不算个作家，在这个就是搞学问的人里，他也不算一个学问，就是他是一个，他属于是一个中国有点像骂人的话，是个骡子，他不能生育，就是他在哪里都不算一个就是正经的写作方式。
So I think it's a bit embarrassing. I don't know if you have the word in English, but it's called literature criticism. And it's embarrassing because the novel writers does not regard people who write literature criticism as writers. As also academicians don't regard people writing literature criticism as they are taught also. So it's like animal. If I make a metaphor, it's like an animal of mule. It does not give birth to baby.
为了避免这个尴尬，我就开始写一种在这个文体上叫做随笔的一个东西，然后题材逐渐的从这个当代作品的评论开始向外延伸到西方作品，向古代延伸到世界。在这个过程中，我陷入了更深的尴尬。第一，这个西方的语言我并不那么精熟。第二个，我发现我自己的传统语言我也没有那么熟练，因此我一直是在一个尴尬的写作困境之中。我说完。
And to avoid this embarrassment, I began to turn to another literature, and it's essay. So I began to write an essay. So I want to avoid this crisis, and I turned from the contemporary to the Western literature, and turned from ancient literature to the world literature. And in this process, I find that I fall into a deeper embarrassment. And the embarrassment are two. The first, I found I'm not so good at Western language, and the second, I'm also not good at Chinese language. So that's embarrassment.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the real meat of this discussion, which is 挖掘创意, that is the creation, the quarrying for ideas. How do you gain inspiration?
那接下来呢，我们要进入这次会谈的核心部分，那就是挖掘创意，怎样寻找写作中的灵感。
I will continue also the ping pong game, and I'd like to first ask Christian for your thoughts on where does inspiration come from, particularly with regard to the very interesting novel that you referred to.
那接下来呢，我要继续这个乒乓球的游戏。我们从 Christine 开始，你从哪里挖掘创意？尤其是你在谈到的你的长篇小说。
Yeah, of course, there are different sources. The main topic of the novel is that all remembrance, all memory we have is false. It's about memory and the creation of memory. And I got this idea from when I was examining travel through the United States. I did together with 4 friends of mine in 1978. I interviewed them, and nobody really could remember what we did in 5 weeks. So that was the first thing that I said to myself. I wanted to write about this journey, but I couldn't because no one could remember. So then I read a lot of scientific books about memory, and I found out it's not only me, it's not only them, it's what we all do. If we remember, we create. And then I had the topic.
那我的作品的主题呢，基本上都是和记忆的有关的。我觉得记忆它都是一个虚妄的东西，它其实是我们创造的东西。在1978年的时候呢，我和我的一些4个朋友一起进行了一趟旅行，然后在那趟旅行里面呢，我们进行了一些会谈，但是呢，却没有人记得在5星期里这发生的事情。那所以呢，其实我是想写一本书的，但是因为没有人记得了，那我就没法写了。这个时候呢，我去寻找了很多的科学的有关于记忆的书籍来看。那这个时候我才发现，不仅仅是我，也不仅仅是我的朋友们在丢失记忆， 其实我们所有的人都在丢失记忆。那如果我们记得什么的话，那其实是我们在创造什么。所以这就是我书籍的主题。
So that was the first source, and then I started writing about the subject, and then the story. So the source was biography, my own history, what I experienced, and then the second one was the scientific books I read about, and then when I started the writing process, something happened what I didn't experience before, that the story developed itself, that characters I created started to live, and they were producing themselves ideas, and this was the most fascinating aspect on writing this novel.
那刚刚讲到的是第一点，那这一点呢，其实是来自于一些传记，我自己的经历以及一些历史。然后第二个来源呢，它是一个科学小说，我读过的一些科学书。然后接下来我就开始写了。那么在写的这个过程中呢，我发现我的一些经历没有用了，故事开始自行的发展，我创造的人物他们活了起来，有了自己的观点和想法。我发现这是我在写作小说中最有意思的一方面。
And maybe the fourth and last source is I steal. I steal from others. I'm a huge admirer, for example, of David Lynch and his films, and Twin Peaks in special. I watched David Lynch films and tried to steal something from him, and I was inspired by a book written by August Strindberg. It's called what's it in The Memories of a Fool, I think, in English, and I tried to steal from him too. So yeah, I think these four are the main sources how I created this novel.
那么接下来的最后的一个灵感来源呢，其实是我喜欢从其他的作品中去偷窃一些灵感。那比如说我特别喜欢大卫林奇的电影，尤其是《双峰镇》，所以我会看他的电影，然后去从中借取一些灵感。然后其他的一个呢，就是有一个作家叫 August Schmidt， 然后他有一本小说叫做《蠢人的记忆》，我也会从这本书里面去获取一些灵感。那么上述就是我所有的灵感来源。
这个灵感，刚才讲到一个挖掘灵感，怎么样去挖掘灵感，然后创意小说啊。然后我一直觉得，就是灵感这件事情，或者说创意这件事情，它不是用来挖掘出来的，它是一种遭遇。我觉得灵感是一种遭遇，不是挖掘出来的。就好像在黑夜当中行走。我要在黑夜当中行走的时候，然后我给自己设定一个，假如说我给自己设定一个，我要在黑夜当中行走，然后我去踢到一块金子，你给自己设计好了这样子的想法去走这趟黑夜之行的话，你是遇不到那个金子的话怎么办呢？所以我觉得灵感是你可能是踢到一块石头，不是金子；你可能踢到是一团棉花，它也不是金子，它不是你设想好的那个东西。所以我觉得灵感是一种遭遇，它不是说你要去挖掘，你要去寻找，你要去我想好了怎么去做就能够做到的，它是一种遭遇。先说这些，然后我再继续。
So for me, people are always talking about digging into the inspiration and create a novel, but for me, you don't dig into the inspiration. If you just come across inspiration, it's like you are walking in the night. And if you you plan that I'm going to step on a gold, you will never step on a gold. And what do you do if you just step on a stone or some cotton? So they can also be your inspiration. So I think you just don't plan inspiration, you don't dig into the inspiration, you come across inspirations.
那么讲到这种遭遇，我就在想，就是说什么样的遭遇会让你 想到我要写作了，我要去写哪种遭遇，然后我因为我自己只是一个创作，就是写小说的人，所以我可能会讲自己的一些体验。假设我比如说，我这个人啊，我就说前面有一个经历，清明节的时候去扫墓，扫墓的时候呢，你进入墓地的时候，你会看到别人的墓碑。很多你走到亲人的，比如说我外公，我去给外公扫墓，然后我一路走进去，我就看到很多很多的墓碑，这些墓碑上的名字一个一个，我就在看过去。有的时候我会发现一个非常优雅的名字，有的时候我会发现一个非常这个我们说很俗的一个名字，也有的时候你会发现这个名字好像跟他的时代不是很一样，还看他的年份，对吧？生年，然后你就会一路的想进去，一路的走进去，然后我就想，就是说我就会觉得，哎呀，如果一个刻墓碑的人，这个人是工作就是刻墓碑的，因为这肯定有这样的工作人员啊，这个是墓园里面刻墓碑的这个雕刻匠，刻墓碑的刻字匠，他在每一次刻到这个名字的时候，他会不会对这个人，这个死去的人，他会有想象
？So you just write and you just experience, you don't dig into the inspiration. So in terms of the encounter, I have an example for you. For example, before in the April, when I sweep the tombs, I come across many graves of others because I went to sweep the tombs of my grandfather, but I came across the others' tombs and I just read the names on the graves. And I see some names are very elegant and some names are very vulgar and some names just don't go along with his time. So I will think a lot about it. And I will also think that when someone who inscribes a name on the tomb, does he have some imagination produced by these names?
然后我就想，我要写一个刻墓碑的一个年轻人，然后他爱上了一个墓碑上的名字，一个优雅的女人的名字，然后他又是一个还没有女朋友的青年，然后他每一次总是要寂寞的时候，有忧伤的时候，有解决不了的困境的时候，他跑到墓园里面去，到这个女人的墓碑前面跟她聊天。他喜欢这个名字，就是延伸到他想象中的那个人，他喜欢这个人，然后每天或者说一段时间他要去看一看他，跟他聊天，跟他说话，一直到最后怎么离开。那么这个就是我说的一个遭遇，因为我去扫墓，所以我看到了很多很多墓碑上的名字，然后我觉得，哎呀，我要写，灵感产生了，这个是我的灵感的来源。因为我讲到灵感来源，你怎么去想？然后我觉得这个一个灵感产生，然后就会引发你的想象，这个想象让你有好奇心去探究某一个领域的人，某一个行业的人，他们在想些什么，干些什么。这个就是我说的一种啊，这种遭遇。我是不是要翻译一下
？And so from this experience, because I went to the tomb, so I want to write a story about a tomb inscriber who has fallen in love with a name, a very elegant girl's name on the tomb, and the young man does not have a girlfriend either. And whenever he feels lonely or sad or he falls into a dilemma, he went to the tomb and talked to the name on the tomb. And this is the story of the human beings. And he always wants to chat with girl from time to time until he left. So this is whole story. And this is my encounter in the tomb and how I write it.
那然后我再说一个遭遇，就是我的灵感都是来自于一种遭遇。有一次朋友的聚会，然后呢就是已经吃饭喝茶这个喝咖啡一直到很晚，午夜了，12点以后了。然后我打了一个出租车，然后开过淮海路，然后这个时候商店都已经关门了，只有橱窗灯还亮着。那我车在淮海路上一路开过的时候，忽然看见有一家商店的橱窗灯亮着，然后有一个做橱窗的工人，应该叫橱窗设计师吧。这个橱窗设计师他在一个面朝大街的橱窗里面，给一个模特儿一件一件的衣服在那里试啊，明天要那个展出的，然后他再给他换衣服，然后灯光。我觉得他就像一个电视屏幕，他就在那个屏幕里面跟一个模特儿，一个塑料的模特 就是那群模特在那里换衣服交流，我忽然觉得这个场景好美哦。这个模特很漂亮，尽管她是个光头模特，黑色的，可是她给她细致的穿衣服的那种柔软温暖。午夜没有一个人，她一个人就在那里跟那个模特的一个衣服的交流，我觉得他们是一种情感交流。我觉得这种遭遇也让我想，哎呀，我要写一个橱窗设计师。
不过你这样说的是谦虚的，因为这个遭遇每个人每一天每一分钟都会遇到的，对吗？但是你是主动的去找他，就是选他作为你的创意的火花，对不对？
对，
这个是你，
哦，
是不是？所以你的就是作者的这个动机是不是很强的？
哦，那看来
，sorry。
So for me, encounters, they inspired my imagination, and my imagination became my curiosity, and my curiosity ignites me to explore the world. So it motivates me to write a book. And then I will tell you another encounter, another story. It's like one party, and the party ends very late. So I took a taxi after this party, and on the Huang Dehai Road, I found many shops closed. And in the closed shops, they have windows that has light on. So I found that in one window with light on, I found the designer who is dressing up the model. And the model is bored, and the model is not very good looking. But I found the soft way in this deep night. He dressed this model and exchanged with this model. I found this very moving and very touching. So the window is like a screen of the TV, and the designer is like someone expressing his emotions to the model. And it inspired me, and I decided to write a story about the designer.
那我觉得主持人先生，我们刚才说的，你说的非常非常对，所以我也一直有一个困惑。当我有这个遭遇的时候，它就变成了我的灵感。然后，那么如果说这些很多人也跟我一样有这个遭遇的时候，没有成为他的灵感，没有成为他创作的一个灵感，那么如果他缺乏这个感知力，或者说缺乏这种敏感，这个，那么怎么办？如果说是这个灵感还不能成为他的创意，那么怎么教他要成为创意，是吗？我觉得这个，与其教创意，不如教他怎么样更多的去感受生活。我觉得是这样。
And because our moderator said our writer is very modest because everyone has encounters, but only she turned these encounters into inspirations. So she is the one to take initiatives while the others are not. So she is very modest in this way. And our writer said, okay, he is right. And many people encountered many things, but they didn't turn these encounters into inspirations. So if I think it's because maybe they are not very sensitive, and is a moderator's question that how to teach them to find inspiration. And the writer thinks that rather than teaching them to find inspiration, we would better to teach them to feel more in the life, to find more encounters that can inspire them in life.
So Colombe, for you too. The question of inspiration, where does it come from? You mentioned the filling gaps in your life, which I thought was fascinating. I wonder if you'd like to expand on that a little bit.
Yes, but like Christian, I think that writers are thieves from the history of my family, and also they are liars. Well, I take things from the history of my family, and I dig and do some research and do interviews, but then when I write, I lie because I change things. As the writing goes on, you change what people told you, you change the memories, you change everything. So I think all writers, we have to be careful because we thief from you and then we lie. I want to tell you that first.
那刚刚科勒呢谈到了他的生活中的一些记忆中的一些缝隙，那么我们的主持人觉得这种缝隙它是非常惊人的。那么科勒说呢， 他非常同意 Christian 刚刚的一个看法，也就是我们其实是一个小偷，从各种故事里头，那么他其实是他家族故事的一个小偷，去窃取他家族的一些故事来写作。那与此同时呢，他也是一个撒谎者，他窃取了他家族的故事，然后做了一些访谈，做了一些调查，然后在写作过程中呢，却改变了一些事实，他们改变了这些记忆。所以呢，他说当你在面对作家的时候呢，要非常小心，因为他们会对你撒谎。
Then I have another confession to make. I began to write very late. I was very old when I began to write my first book, because for a very long time, even though I was a very big reader, I think reading leads you to writing, same field. I think I didn't have anything to write about, and I didn't know how to write. But I would read for a very long time and still not anything. I found writings and I would read. I would read the Yellow Pages, I would read any glossy magazines. I would look for secrets in my parents' rooms. And after my father died, I was digging in his office looking for something. I was a bit rude. And opening the drawer of his cabinet, I found a Paris Match with a very famous glossy magazine. And in this magazine, they were talking about my grandfather. I never heard about him. And they said that he was homosexual, and his lover killed him, cut him into a piece, and put him in a suitcase and traveled around France with him. This is my grandfather. I never heard about it. And so,
Stop.
那我接下来呢，还要坦白一件事。那我呢，其实是年纪比较大的时候开始写作的，所以我有很长的一段时间其实没有在写作。但是我一直是一个非常热衷于阅读的人，我一直相信阅读会带你走向写作之路。那我开始写作的时候呢，我不知道写什么，也不知道怎么开始写。但是我会很长的时间花在阅读上面，我会去读各种各样的东西，比如说黄页，比如说一些杂志。那我甚至呢会在我父母的老房子里面找来找去，我会挖出一些木头来看。那我有一次呢就打开了我父亲家的一个壁橱的一个抽屉，然后我发现了一个杂志，然后我就发现了它上面记载了我祖父的一些事情。这件事情我从来没有听说过，那就是他是一个同性恋。然后呢，他的一个同性恋伙伴呢杀死了他，并把他切成一片一片装在盒子里面，环绕整个法国旅行。
Well, I'm laughing because that's a incredible story when you learn about that. But for my father, who was 18 when his father died, it was a lot of humiliation and shame to see his father in all the newspapers in France. It was in all the newspapers. It was a big, big story. So you asked me how I found my inspiration. For me, it's very easy. I opened drawers in my family apartment and I found stories. I only have to ask questions. Usually no one answer, but I keep on asking questions. I go to archives, I look at pictures, and then I have this incredible story in my family. So this was the story of my grandfather. Was my first book. And I pursue and write about my family in more books.
那当我知道这件事情的时候呢，其实我是不可置信的笑了。但是对我父亲来说呢，我祖父死亡的这种方式其实是非常令人屈辱的，因为那个时候法国所有的报纸上面都记载了这件事情，它是一件非常令人羞辱的一件事情。那么如果你问我如何找到灵感，我会告诉你非常简单，我就在我家里到处去寻找，我家里有非常多的故事。那如果说你要问问题的话，我的家人他是不会回答的，但是我可以寻找很多的图片，我会寻找一些文档，去寻找他们的这些记忆。
Another inspiration, for instance, for Val de Grâce, this is a book about the history of the apartment where I grew up, that we sold a long time ago. I found the inspiration going to have a massage, and the massage she was very good, and she said, well, you have something blocked in your body when you were 35. What happened to you when you were 35? So, well, nothing. And then I came back home, and I remember, yes, when I was 35, both my parents were dead, so we had to sell the apartment where I grew up. And I remember everything from this apartment. I remember that in the entrance, it was gold and green. It was very unusual. And the dining room was pink and silver, and it was a huge apartment filled with strange things and secrets and old-time match. And so I think I would write about this apartment because of a massage.
那我第二个灵感呢是和我住的公寓有关的，然后这个公寓呢是我从小长大的一个公寓。那我有一次呢去做了一次按摩，然后从按摩那里呢得到了一个灵感，我感觉这个公寓并不是一个很好的公寓，然后我就搬离了这个公寓。然后这个公寓它非常的非同寻常，为什么呢？它的入口处是金色和绿色的，这个装饰是非常不同寻常的。然后吃饭厅它是粉色和银色的，然后整个公寓里面它充满了各种各样的小东西，所以这就是我的第二个灵感，来自我的公寓和来自一次按摩。
Another inspiration is this nightmare I had when my baby girl was 3 days old, and someone wanted to take my daughter when I punch him in the face, and I wake up thinking, what happened to Salome? What happened during the war to my family? And so I made some research. I went to Lithuania, which is a small country in the north of Europe where my mother and grandmother are coming from. And so I discovered what happened to Salome and why no one would talk about it in my family because of kind of shame. When you're a victim of, you feel the shame instead of the, let's say, bourreau. It's not, I don't think Nazi would feel shame, but the victim of the Nazi would feel the shame, the guilt to have survived after the war. And so there was so much shame and guilt in my family that no one could talk about. And so it was very important for me to understand what this guilt was coming from and what happened to Salome who died in Auschwitz. So this is a book, this is where the inspiration comes from a nightmare.
那么接下来要讲的一个灵感呢，就是我之前讲过的来自于噩梦的一个灵感，那就是我的女儿在3天大小的时候呢，我就做了一个噩梦，梦见有人想要杀死她，然后呢我就一拳打在她的脸上，然后我就在想沙乐美身上发生了什么，这样一个事情它是从哪里来的，然后呢我就开始找很多的资料，并到了北欧的一个小国家，那是我的母亲和祖母所来到的地方，然后我就发现了这个事实的真相。那你知道人们不会谈论这些事情，因为当他们是受害者的时候，他们会感到非常的羞耻，就像纳粹他杀死了那么多人，但却并不为之感到羞耻，却是那些幸存者，那些生活下来的人，他们为之感到羞耻。那所以我觉得有一点非常重要，就是我去寻找这种羞耻感、愧疚感，它是从哪里来的？在奥斯维辛集中营里，沙乐美的身上到底发生了什么？
Thank you. 方老师，你肯定是看过很多写作，很多书。从你的评论家的这个角度来讲，你觉得作者是利用就是遭遇的事情，或者是Colombe刚才所说的这样的就是真实的事情，最好的作者是怎么利用这样的事情？
So let's return to Mr. Wang. For you as a critic, so when Colombe talked about her real stories happens, and what do best writers take inspiration from the stories and the true stories around them?
到我这里好像是问题目了嘛？你看这个尴尬的身份都会导致这种状况。我接下来说的话会跟我刚才说的我的写作状况一样尴尬。就是这个我要说的方式，在古代叫骂题，就是骂题目，在这个我们现在说法叫离题或者偏题。
So the next words, the next sentences I will talk about will be as embarrassing as the way I write. So in ancient times I called people's names to call bad things on people or on things. And in a modern way, we call it deviation.
就是我 个人并不信任创意这个事儿，甚至认为这是一个创造出来的害人的词。我也来讲一个故事，就是那个顾彬写过一篇文章，就是那个以说中国当代文学是垃圾著称的顾彬，但是他写过非常严肃的文章。在10几年前，有一个中国的学生在德国发表了一篇非常学术意义的论文，是讨论巴黎文的一个写本的，在德语世界引起了关注。然后呢，顾彬就写了一篇书评，叫你的心在哪里？后来呢，我为什么我会知道这个故事呢？这个被顾彬批评的这个作者写了另外一篇文章，说我的心在哪里，然后来回应顾彬的这个问题。到这。
So, I think there is nothing as inspiration, and people are victims of inspiration or creation. I will also tell a story to prove my idea. And in our contemporary literature history, there is a man called Gu Bin, and he always say bad things about literature and about his contemporaries. And also, he will write serious passages, serious essays. And there is a Chinese student who has published an essay, academical essay in Germany, and he said something about literature. And Gu Bin then wrote an essay to comment his academic essay. And the title is "Where is Your Heart?" And why I know this incident is because the author of the former essay just wrote another essay to answer Gu Bin's question, and the title of that essay is "Where is my heart?" or "My heart is here."
等到这个我说10几年前在德国的这个年轻人回到中国变成了一个著名教授的时候，他以为他已经回答的顾彬的问题。他说：“我现在可以告诉顾彬了，我的心在语文学。”我认为他仍然没有回答顾彬的问题。就像当顾彬在说中国当代文学是垃圾的时候，我觉得大家都在听这个危言耸听，并不知道顾彬在这个话里指涉是什么。就像我们都在喜欢一个媒体报道中的顾彬，从来没有看到过在这个一次演讲之前，顾彬1个小时之前就进入了教室，提前做准备一样。
And tens of years later, when this young man who studied in Germany came back to China and became a famous professor, I think he thought that he has understood Gu Bin's question, and he said he knew that his heart lies in literature. But I think he still didn't understand, and he still didn't answer Gu Bin's question. It's like when Gu Bin said that Chinese literature is rubbish, we only think that he is trying to attract attention from people, and we don't know really what he refers to. It's like when he enters into the classroom 1 hour before the class begins, we also don't know this incident.
不过不用担心，我没有真的跑题。我下边就要说到创意这个问题。对我来说，创意是个什么事情？就是在不断询问我的心在哪里的过程中，闪现出来的一些我们刚才称作火花也好，称作灵感也好的东西。而这个东西，在这些所有的被称作创意和灵感之前的东西，是我在询问我的心在哪里的一个过程。是这个过程中不断遇到的问题，才出现了一种叫做灵感的东西，或者叫做创意的东西。就像刚才咱们讲到的，害人者从来没有羞耻感，而反而是被害者有羞耻感。这个其实是在写作者他自己在这个过程中不断的在问我的心在哪里，我要知道什么事情的过程中遇到的事情。因此创意是在询问我的心在哪里的过程中产生的，而不是一个可以技术用操作的问题。
Don't worry, I'm not deviating from the theme. I'm not going to talk about creation. So I think creation is produced when you ask yourself, where is my heart? And when you ask this question, there is something like sparkling, something like inspiration. The whole thing, the creation, the inspiration, they're not in this process. They're produced in the process of you asking yourself, where is my heart? And just like Colombe just mentioned, that the people who brought the others harm don't feel ashamed of themselves, while only the victims feel ashamed of themselves. So this inspiration is produced when she is asking the question and she is exploring.
I'd like to ask a couple of questions now about the origins of inspiration, and I'm particularly interested in the question of first of all whether real life, that is things that have actually impacted on you directly, is better inspiration than things that, say, you have read about or are aware of, like writing a novel about 5th century China, as opposed to writing about yesterday. What would you say, Christian?
Okay, this is...
Maybe let her answer the question. Maybe just let her translate.
Yeah.
那我接下来呢就要问几个有关的问题。首先第一个问题就是想要问一下大家，是你生活中直接触发你的这些灵感、这些体验更好呢，还是说你在书里读到的这些灵感，比如说讲述5世纪的中国的一个故事的灵感更好呢？
I don't know if I really can answer this question. I can answer another question. If you asked me before what is easier to write, fiction or non-fiction.
Absolutely.
When I think it was much easier, for example, for me to write this travel book about traveling through China. It's a non-fiction book. Of course, you have to arrange your material and make it readable, so that nobody feels boring and quit reading. But on the other hand, I took a lot of notes and made a book out of it, and everything what's in the book happened in some way. I think this is much easier than to write a novel. I first thought, oh, this is might be easier to write because you don't have to care about the facts. You can invent facts and you can invent your own world. But in the end, I found out that this was more difficult.
那我不知道我能否回答这个问题，可能我想回答另一个问题，你之前问过我一个问题，那就是写虚构作品容易还是写非虚构作品更容易？那我觉得呢，我觉得写非虚构作品的话，我之前写了一个有关于中国的游记，它是一个非虚构的作品。当然你要收集非常多的事实，然后它的可读性要比较强，这样人们才不会觉得比较烦，然后会放弃阅读这本书。那另一个方法呢，就是你写一本书的时候，就去读一本书，然后去记录它的一些东西，然后把它写成一个笔记。然后这个时候呢，有一点比较简单的就是，你不用关心哪些是事实，你可以去发现自己的事实，创新自己的事实。但是我后来发现，这种方式，第二种方式是更加困难的。
Yeah, because you have to take care, you have to see that there is an internal logic. You can't invent everything, you can invent characters, but the character has really to live, and the story in the end has to end up come to a certain goal. And I think if you take the reality, okay, you can't discuss reality, what happened on this trip through China. I really can't change it. But in a book, in a novel, I have so many possibilities. You're always standing at crossroads and have to make decisions. And sometimes I couldn't sleep for days, not really, because I was always thinking which way I can take and which is really true, not in the sense that it is not invented, but true to the soul of the book, you can call it.
那么，因为它为什么难呢？因为一本书它有它的内在逻辑，你并不能真正的去发明自己创造所有的东西，它需要是活的，你也不能去发明创造它所有的人物，这些人物它需要是有自己的逻辑在里面的。那所以说，整个故事它会有一个最终的一个目标，一个结局。但是如果你记录一些现实真实的事情的时候，你会发现它们是不可改变的，它们是真实存在的。那一本小说呢，它有非常多的可能性，所以当你写的时候，你会经常发现自己站在一个十字路口，有很多很多的决定你要去做。那所以有的时候呢，我会发现我连续几天都睡不着觉，当然这是一个有点夸张的说法，那我不是真的睡不着觉。那么那个时候呢，我就会一直在想，我应该走哪条路。当我站在十字路口的时候，哪条路它是真实的，并不是说这个真实就是真实发生的，而是说它真实的忠于这本书的灵魂。
So when other writers tell me they love writing, I envy them because in the end I hate it and I don't like it. I only like it when it's finished. Then I'm relieved.
那当其他有一些作家告诉我他们热爱写作的时候呢，我总是很嫉妒他们，因为我一点都不喜欢写作，我讨厌写作，我只有当一本书写完的时候才喜欢写作。
好，Xue Shu想问你类似的一个问题，就是你关于他刚才所说的想知道的。不过还有一个你觉得你刚才说的是这个遭遇这个事情，如果你没有遭遇过一个什么事情，这个会不会能够，就是你能不能够想象到写的你是没有自己亲自接触过的？比方说我是写过书，但是故事小说我写不到，但是如果写的话，主角肯定是男的，我写不到女的。
So, Ms. Xue, I also want to ask the question that he has been asked, and I want you to express ideas that he has talked about. And also the asked question is that you have talked about encounters before, and is it that if you don't encounter something, you don't come across something by yourself, and you will not express it so truly as you did encounter it? For example, if you don't encounter something and the woman, and you will only write about men.
其实肯定不能所有的生活我们都能经历过才去写。然后，假如我生活在猪圈里面，我可以通过猪圈里面的臭来写香是怎么样的。我不必真的去写香，然后我是这么感觉哦。然后就是说，如果你是生活在整天充满香水味的房子里面，你可以用这个香去写猪圈里的臭。我的感觉就是，其实刚才先前的一个问题是书里的灵感还是那个这个生活里的灵感，是吧？就是说，但是就是刚才我讲到的是一个你可以用猪圈里的臭去写香水的香，你不必直接想写香水的香，这是因为我们没有办法去经历所有的生活，但是我们有一点可以抓住的，我觉得这个很重要的一点就是人性。我觉得人性这个东西可能都是有相似的东西，但是就是说，我刚才讲的那个遭遇，这些遭遇呢，恰恰是让我，比如说有一个遭遇让我想到了，我得用猪圈去写香，猪圈的臭去写香，就遭遇是激发我要写的那个冲动的那个导火线，点燃那个导火线，而真正的真的去书写的时候，那是一个技术手段了。我后面再讲，先翻吧。
I think you can't experience everything in order to write it. For example, if I lived in a pig's farm, I can use the stinkiness in the pig's farm to write the fragrance. And for example, if I lived in a perfumed house, I can also use the perfume that I smelled in the house to write the stinkiness in the pig's farm. So as I mentioned in the book, the inspiration of the book and the inspiration of the life, they're different. And the perfume, you can write the stinkiness of the pig's farm and using the perfume in the house. This is an indirect way. It's because we can't experience in the life. And I think it's because humanity are all very similar. But you just mentioned my encounters. I think there must be some encounter that ignites me to remind me of the way that I can use the perfume in a house to write the stinkiness in the pig's farm. So there are some technicals in writing, and I will talk about it later.
然后这个有关书里的灵感还是生活里的灵感的问题，我刚才也在想这个问题，您一提出来，我就在想我是怎么样的。其实这个可以讲到我开始写作，我怎么会开始写作的？其实就是在一开始就是我不写作就看书嘛，然后有一天看到那个余华的《许三观卖血记》。那本书，那段时间他的书开始长篇小说，还有苏童的等等一些书出来。当我看到《许三观卖血记》的时候，我忽然觉得这不就是我的生活吗？就我的那个小镇上的生活嘛。他的那个胜利饭店，他的这个许三观、许玉兰，还有一乐、二乐、三乐这些人物，还有这个镇上的种种的人，还有去卖血的这个他们吃那个爆炒猪肝，对吧？献了血之后吃那个猪肝的补血，这些故事我觉得简直就是我小镇上的生活。然后我觉得，哎呀，我也要写。那么这么看来，是不是就是书给了我灵感呢？但是我觉得这个不是的。同样，当我看到这个某一个作家写的同样就是说一段他的生活的时候，他可能没有激发我的灵感，这是为什么呢？事实上就是说，我的灵感还是来自我的生活，只是因为正好余华可以这样去写，我发现，哎呀，他把我的生活写得那么的这个有意思，我喜欢，于是就是。我觉得我从余华身上不是看到了灵感，不是得到了灵感，而是得到了他这种技术手段表现他的生活。我觉得是这样。
Okay, so you ask about the inspiration from book and inspiration of life, and that reminds me of my experience, and that's how I began to write. I just mentioned that I didn't write long. But I'm an average reader, and when I began to write, it's when I read about Yu Hua's novel, and it's Xu Sanguan blood-selling story. And when I read it, I think that's my life, that's the life on my town, the Victory Hotel restaurants, the characters, the whole town, how people live. I think that's the lives on my town, and I think it's very interesting. So, did I get the inspiration from this novel? I think no. The stories are just similar, the life are similar, but why don't I get inspiration when I read the other's book? It's, after all, from my life, because I think when Yu Hua wrote this story, it's so very interesting, and I think, how can he write my life so interesting? And that Yu Hua inspired me to get his writing techniques to present my life.
你所有的这些小说故事，有内容多少，或者是有多少是直接反映发生过的事情呢？
事实上就是可能只是一个灵感的一个起源，后面肯定有很多是我经常会说的是情节是虚构的，情感是真实的。
So the moderator asked that how many percent of the story that's come directly from your life, and Ms. Xue just answered that I think the true life is the origin of my inspiration, and I always say that the plots are fake, but emotions are true.
说得好，说得好。Okay, Colombe, I'd like to ask you about another form of inspiration, which is money. To what extent is the commercial potential of a story or of a plot twist something that a writer such as yourself would consider in the writing of a book?
那我接下来呢，我要问一下施耐克女士，那就是在你写作的时候，你会考虑到多大的商业潜力？也就是对就情节和转折来说，你会否考虑到它的商业潜力在写作中
No, never. When you write, it's because you write with what you have in your heart. You write about your humiliation, you write about your, say, bless you, you write about you. I would like to answer the questions that they all had to answer, because when I began to write, if I would write something, I never did that, about a sailor in China in the 18th century, I could, but I would do it for only one reason. It's because I think this sailor would represent me, my history. It would be something I needed to write. It would be vital for me to know what happened to this sailor in the 18th century of China. It's vital for me. I write for a very selfish reason. No money, but to save me, to be ordered to live better, to live knowing what happened in the past, where I come from, to put words on things who, as my father said, bad things we should never talk about. That's the only reason. If the book is selling well, and I have many readers, which sometimes happens, it's always a miracle, I'm very happy, you know, I'm not against money. But to write for money would be, I don't know, useless, because you don't earn so much money writing.
我想说这个答案是零。我在写作中考虑到商业利益的情况是零。那么当我写作的时候，其实我确实是可以写，比如说一个18世纪的中国海员的故事。但是当我写的时候，首先它一定是能够代表我，并且能够代表我的故事。然后我有这个需求去了解它。这个18世纪的中国海员，它是吸引我的。通常情况下，我写作都是非常自私的理由。我需要自我救赎，需要生活得更好。我想了解过去，我想了解我来自于哪里。那么在现实中呢，如果说我的书卖得很好的话，如果说我的读者很喜欢它，就像在美国所发生的那样，那我是非常高兴的，因为我不会和钱作对，但是我不会仅仅为钱而写作。
黄老师，你觉得这个话题怎么样呢？就是说，你所接触的文学，你觉得有多少是零的，就是商业的因素是零？
我还挺想引用一句话的，但是我怕很难翻译啊。但是我说完以后我就自己翻译一点啊。这个就是《论语》里有孔子说的话，叫“富而可求，随执鞭之事无以为之；如不可求，从无所好。”这孔子说是什么呢？就是要是这个富贵是可以求来的话，就是当出租车司机也可以；要是求不来的话，那就干我自己喜欢的事情。那么对我来说也是这样，就是要是那个书卖个100万册，对吧？200万册的，发个财，然后多好，自己可以住个别墅上。但是如果求不来的话，那只好从无所好，并且我想对于大多数认真的写作来说，也只剩下从无所好这一个卑微的骄傲了。
So here I want to quote Confucius' words. It's a great thinker in ancient China, and he said, if you can just get rich as much as you want, it's good even if being a taxi driver. And if you can't get as rich as just you want, you just do what you like. I think for me, it's very good if I can sell my books for 1 million or 2 million versions, and I get rich and I can live in a big house. But it's not like that. And I think for us, the only thing left is to do what we like. And this is the only modest pride left for literature.
谢谢。现在是给观众一个机会提问题，不知道谁有没有兴趣，有没有问题想问
？So now is the time for audience asking questions. Is anyone wants to ask any questions?
或者是这样，你们先想一想，然后呢，我先问。对不起。
I'm very happy to be here and have this very interesting speech with all of you. And my question is for writers. At the beginning of the writing, I think, do you have some kind of a fear that if I am not successful, what will I do? Or because maybe at the beginning we do not have such kind of a techniques of writing. So if you wanted to have a novel or non-fiction essay to be very good or to some extent perfection, so how will you handle with such kind of hesitation?
I can answer that fear is always there.
Sorry. 所以我今天很高兴来到这里和你们在一起。那我有一个问题，就是当你们作为作家，当你们开始写作的时候，也是否会担心，如果我不成功怎么办呢？然后在开始的时候，我没有很多的技巧。那我当我开始写一些小说，或者是非虚构作品，或者是散文的时候，我怎么样把它们做得完美呢？
Well, my answer is fear is always with you. Fear when you begin your book because you don't know you're going to be able to write it. When you're in the middle, the fear that the book you're writing is very, very bad. And when you finish, that maybe you publish things, it's okay to publish it, but maybe readers think it's going to be very bad or no one is going to open your book. So, like Christian says, writing is really an awful job, but at the same time it's the best job you can have. It's so much freedom and so much pleasure, but fear is always there.
那我的答案呢，就是其实害怕永远与你共存。当你开始写的时候，你会害怕自己不知道怎么写；当你写到一半的时候，你会害怕写得糟糕怎么办；当你写完的时候，当它出版的时候，你会害怕如果读者的反馈不好怎么办？如果读者根本不愿意打开书怎么办？就像刚刚 Christian 跟你们说过的一样，写作是一个非常可怕的工作。但是对我来说，有时候它也是最好的工作之一，因为它是一个非常自由的工作，你在其中可以找到很多的乐趣和自由。
I only can tell from my experience, when I started to write, I was much more confident. When I was very young, okay, I didn't wrote novels, but I thought I'm better than anyone else and I'm a genius and yeah, but then I started writing and then I found out it's much more difficult and over the course of the years I became more and more humble and I discovered there are better writers than me. This is a terrible thing to see suddenly.
当我刚刚开始我的写作历程的时候呢，我是非常非常自信的一个年轻的人。那我当时没有在写小说，但是我当时觉得我比任何人都要好，我是一个天才。但后来呢，我越写越发现写作是一件非常非常困难的事情，那我就变得越来越谦虚。而在这个过程中，我也发现有非常非常多的好的作家，他们都比我好，这对我来说是一种非常可怕的体验。
我也说两句啊，就是因为我经常会回答这个问题。就是 我有时候出去跟这个作家们碰到一起，尤其刚新的写作者，他会问我这个问题，就是说，我经常说的是，当你真正的，我再次强调是真正的准备写作的时候，你已经远离了成功学的这个成功。就是因为你看到很多作家发了财，他也是以后通过别的手段发的财，并不是因为这个写作发的财，他的投资啊，各种各样这样一个问题。就是说，这是第一条。第二条，你选择了写作，就跟你所有的不满足交合在一起了。你会发现你今天刚刚进步了一步，明天就新的缺陷就来了。因此你会发现自己一个始终处在不停的缺陷之中，并且你在不停的发现自己的缺陷的过程中，因此那个成功的满足感是永远不会到来的。但是写作会带来一点点东西，就是这一点点东西，就刚才我说的这个你的心在哪里一样，哪一天你写作到了一个点，你会发现那个东西像一个盒子，咔嚓一声，恰恰好好的合上了。那一瞬间的幸福感，我说的是幸福，永远大于所有的成功带来的体验。但是这只是一瞬间的一点点，瞬间过了，马上又回到非成功状态，就是这么一个过程。但是你知道，这个盒子恰恰好好，锁一推，咔哧合上那一下，有些人这辈子不会有这一下，就我们稍微接触了一点传说中所谓的幸福。
I also want to talk about this question, and first thing I want to say is that when I go to get together with the other writers, the new writers, they often ask me these questions. And the first thing I want to say is that when you begin to write, you'll get rid of all those success that is like the religion of success. And the second thing is that writers do sometimes get rich, but they get rich through the other ways, like investment. They don't get rich through writing. And also, when you write, you will always live with your unsatisfaction. Every time you get progress, you will find new deficiencies. So you will always live with your deficiencies, and you will discover new deficiencies every day, each day. And this satisfaction of success has no relation with you anymore. And so this is one thing I want to mention. And the other thing is that during the writing, to some point, you will find that a feeling, it's like a box just clicked on itself. This is a moment of happiness far exceeding all the feeling of success. But it's very short, it's just a momentary thing. But this momentary of happiness can exceed all success. And this box locking, you just push it and it clicked on itself. This moment of happiness, it's someone that will never experience in their whole life.
好的，我非常同意德海的说法，他一边在说，一边在点头，感觉到说到了我的心里。那首先，我是因为自己写作，所以我说的是自己的体验。写第一篇小说的时候，绝不是为了成功，而是不吐不快。然后什么样的生活什么样的作品才是完美的作品？一旦选择了写作，那你就是永远过不上完美的，永远对自己是不满足的。那么对于我们来讲，什么才是完美的？你今天要想有东西写，明天哎呀我还想有一个东西要写，当我写完一个之后，我还有新的东西，哎呦我还有东西要写，永远有东西在要想写，这就是我们的完美生活。哪一天说你说我什么东西都不想写了，好了完了，你生活就不能完美了。我觉得真的完美的生活就是说你永远有东西想要写，这才是完美的。对我们来讲，别的没什么完美，写作这件事情永远不会完美的。谢谢。
I totally agree what Mr. Huang told us. It has touched my heart. And I think the first novel, the first story you have wrote, is not for success, it's to express your true feelings. And what is the perfection? There's no perfection works. Yesterday you wanted to make something perfect, and today you have also another thing to want to make perfect. But you can never make them all perfect. It's like if you always want to write something to express, then it's perfect life for you as a writer. But when you have nothing to write, then it's not perfect.
有没有其他的？
我想问一个问题，就是当我18岁的时候，可能我也写点东西，但是当我20岁，或者说21岁的时候，我突然发现以前写的一些东西真的是无病呻吟，真的是这样。然后呢，我就觉得，然后我就不写东西了。然后我觉得至少的话，我需要看足够的书，然后足够的经历，然后才有足够的心思去写东西。或者说呢，也可能这只是我给自己。就是没有什么灵感嘛，写东西写下去的一种借口。对于这种想法，各位老师，怎么看呢？
I have a question here. When I was 18 years old, I also wrote something. But when I was 20 and 21, I turned back to look at those essays I wrote. When I was 18, I thought I was being sentimental on purpose. It's terrible, so I stopped writing. I think it's better that I read more and then I write again. But it may also be an excuse for me that I have run out of inspiration and stopped. So what do you think of this idea?
我去贵州、去青海都会遇到这个问题，看来这确实一个国际性的问题。我来讲一个布洛克的说的故事。是这样的，布洛克在我的就是布洛克的小说课堂里有一个他讲到一个事情，有一个年轻人，那个小提琴拉得特别好，他就问一个小提琴的大师。说你有没有时间听我拉一段？这个年轻人就去了，然后拉了一下。那个大师说你这个毫无激情，没有希望。这个年轻人就不拉小提琴了。过了15年（括弧我在这里要说明一个问题，这个可以不用翻），就是这个15年，你看看是一个其实虚构者的精心的准备。他年老大师，如果时间太长，可能会死。给了个15年，变得再老，年轻人正好也可以成功，这是一个非常有意思的时间点。那么，然后那个年轻人说，又见到这个大师了，他已经成为一个成功的商人。说大师，你当年怎么听出我没有希望？大师说，我当时根本就没有听。年轻人非常震惊，说你知道你毁了我的天赋啊！我是这么有天赋的一个人，因为你一句话，我就再也没练小提琴了。那个大师说。如果你当时有激情，就根本不会听我说什么。对于写作就是这样。
I sometimes went to Guangzhou and Qinghai, Guilin and Qinghai, and also heard such questions. And I wanted to tell you a story from Bloch's novel Class, and it told a story about a very young man who wants to play violin, and he found one day a master at violin and asked that master that, could you listen to me playing the violin? And the master after that told him that you don't have passion in it, you are hopeless. And 15 years later, here I want to note here why it's 15 years, because 15 years is not too long, that if it's too long the master will be dead. And it's enough if the young man has become a violinist, he should have been. So 15 years is enough for a man to succeed. And 50 years later, the young man has become a businessman, and he come back to the violin master, and he said, how do you decide that I was hopeless at that time when I was young? And the master said, I never listened. And the businessman is very angry. He said, you destroyed my genius, you know. I gave up playing violin just for your one word. And the master said, you don't have passion in it. If you have passion in it, you will not give up playing violin just for my words.
And that's right, it's only one sentence. It's a sentence by Michel Houellebecq, who's a French writer. He said, you have to write every day. Every day, it's bad. But one day it will be good, and you have to be here when it's good. So you have to keep up, to be there when it's good, because you don't know when it's going to be good. So write every day, every day.
那接下来我就说一句话，这是一位法国作家说的一句话。他说呢，你必须每天都要写作，每天的写作它都是坏的，但是总有一天你的写作会是好的。当它变好的时候，你必须要在那里。所以说，你必须要每天都写。
One sentence of advice.
I would repeat this advice. Start as early as you can to write and keep on writing if you want to write. But on the other hand, of course, also the old master was right. If you don't have the real passion for writing, then it's also not a pity not to do it. Normally, I don't recommend people to write because it's you don't earn so much money and you don't really have a safe job. Your success is really seldom. But if you want to write, then write, but every day. That is good advice.
那我接下去的建议呢，就是如果你想写作的时候，就越早开始越好，并且保持每天的写作。另外呢，之前大师也说过，如果你没有激情的话，那就不要写作了。那对我而言呢，我并不推荐大家选择写作，因为首先它并不挣钱，接着你也没有一份稳定的工作，也离成功的很远。但是最终，如果你想要写作的话，那就开始写作，并且不要停止。
Okay, you can take Sunday off.
当然，你星期天的时候可以休息一下。
那个我的想法是这样的，就是说，不要逼自己嘛，就是那个不要逼自己，就是说，毕竟那个能够一辈子好好读书，也不是一件特别容易的事情。如果说你觉得自己想多读书，然后哪一天要想写了再说吧，就是说不要逼迫自己，就是说为了写作而读书，
And my suggestion is that you don't force yourself to write just because you write, and it's not very easy to read for your whole life. So if you only want to read, it's okay, but just don't read only for writing.
我们时间已经到了，不过我们再可以接一个问题。好。
Thank you. Yeah, we have actually two questions for Mr. Schmidt. I'm sorry. Yeah. First, just as you just said, I believe that writing is a very sometimes it's a very lonely process, and you said that during this process sometimes you are standing in a cross and you have some very difficult choices to make, and for this sometimes it happens that you can sleep for several days. So my question is, during this point, have you ever have self-doubts? Have you ever had this idea of giving up? And my second question is, in writing a novel, you said a fiction, you said that first you create this character, and then the characters they started to have their own life, their own thoughts, but sometimes you have your thoughts and your characters they have their own thoughts, which is different from yours. And if this happens, how do you make the choice? Because I believe that when before you started a novel, you don't want to go against your original intention, but when that really happens, what do you do?
Okay, first question. Sorry, yeah.
我有两个问题。首先呢，就像 Miss Schneck 他刚刚说过的一样，我也觉得在写作中有一些非常孤独寂寞的时候。那很多时候呢，我也会觉得非常的焦虑。那你说呢？你碰到过一些十字路口，然后有非常困难的选择要去做出。那么有时候你甚至睡不着觉，所以在这种情况下，你会不会有自我怀疑，甚至想要放弃的时刻？这是第一个问题。第二个问题呢，就是你在写虚构作品的时候，你创造出人物，然后你说他们就火起来了，他们有了自己的想法。 那么有时候你的作品中的人物他会有自己的想法，而你也会有你的想法。那么当你的想法和你自己的人物的想法有冲突的时候，你该如何选择？因为我相信我觉得在之前呢，这个选择还是比较难做出来的。
So, the first question, yes, I quite often consider to give up, but I didn't learn anything else, and so I can't earn any money, so I have to write, to keep on writing and finish it. So, yeah, sometimes really I think it's not worthwhile. You produce a book and a few people will read it, and then you have to do the next one. And okay, but I never give up, and maybe there are other reasons too. And the second question was. Maybe if you translate it first and the answer, then I will remember the second question.
我从来没有想过放弃，因为首先呢我没有钱，然后我会继续的写，直到写完它，我不会考虑放弃的这件事情，然后不管人们是读完它的反应是怎样的。
Yeah. I remember. In the end, also these fictional characters are me. So this question is not a real question to decide, because these characters are something, maybe parts of me I don't know so good that they can develop. But it's also a question of logic that they have to develop. They have characters have something to do. They have a function in a novel, and you have to find out what kind of function they have. They come to your mind, some of them, and then they develop a function. You need something to tell, and then you invent a character, and yeah, suddenly it develops. But it's of course always you in your brain. So.
那第二个问题呢，我觉得它其实不是一个真正的问题，因为有的人物它其实是你的一部分，然后它这个人物呢，它有一个内在的逻辑，它在故事中它有扮演着一个功能，然后遵循这个逻辑，它会自行的进行发展。那不管它如何发展，到某一个点，它突然间实现了一个突然的一个进展，一个突破。那无论如何，它怎样的一个人物，在你脑海里，它其实都是你自己。
So, 我们其中一个作者真是聊了一个，我们现在结束吗？还是就是小姐，这个我已经猜到了。So, this is a perfect opportunity. I would like you to join me in thanking our panelists for an excellent discussion. 跟我一起欢迎，感谢我们的小组的成员，非常有趣的一个会话。好，也谢谢大家来参与我们这个小组的讨论。
感谢大家今天来参加我们第2届中欧国际文学节在钟书阁的第1场活动。明天同样的时间、同样的地点，我们有另外一场活动，来自保加利亚的作家，还有拉脱维亚的作家，还有中国的潘夏黎和夏商，将就召唤文学的缪斯这个主题进行讨论。欢迎大家参加。这个手上的文学册你们是可以拿走的，然后欢迎你们邀请朋友一起过来。我们非常高兴这次文学节邀请了11位来自欧盟作家、欧盟国家的这些作家来中国，他们很多都是第一次来中国，所以非常高兴能够有这个机会跟读者交流。我们活动结束之后不会马上离开，作家会在这里再逗留15分钟左右，欢迎大家可以直接过来跟他们进行交流，尤其是刚才举手没有机会进行提问的那些观众，再次感谢大家到来，欢迎大家明天同一时间同一地点再来，谢谢大家。